Greetings and blessings, and once again, I want to welcome you to our special today. And today, in our Live from Israel, Knowing the Bible by Hand, we are going to visit the city of Nazareth. From now on, I anticipate that it possibly rains, water is going to fall on us. So the truth is, I'm already here. I'm going to see how we're going to record. We're here with the team ready. So somehow we're going to record, whether inside the vehicle, whether with rain, whatever. We are going to take advantage of this time to fulfill you and bring you this little one from the city of Nazareth. So stay with us. And we are going to tour this city, the city of Jesus' childhood, getting to know Israel with the Bible in hand. This is the main street in the city of Nazareth. The truth is that this situation here has affected the city a lot. From a tourism point of view, it is completely stopped. That's the reality. There is zero tourism. And see if you can manage to visualize, there are many stores closed. To get to this area where I am, now, I had to go through a police checkpoint. That is, there are like 4 police controls that one has to go through, and passing is possible but challenging. As someone in the tourism industry, I was able to pass. I managed to pass because I'm filming, but you can't pass easily. Remember that this city is considered one of the red cities. That is, here in Israel, it is handled like a kind of red traffic light. These are the cities with the highest number of sick people. Then there's the color orange. And then there's the color green. I mean orange, yellow, right? And then there's the color green. There are very few cities in Israel that are green. In fact, there are 2 cities. Well, the Dead Sea area. Those who know the Dead Sea area know that it changed from city and is now called island. It is no longer a city or the area. It is no longer a city area or area of the city. Sorry, it's just that all of this is also new to us. And now it's called island. And there is control at the entrance and exit. That is asked of those people who have had the investigation if they are free from the corona disease in the last 3 days. You have to present that, and then you will be able to enter the Dead Sea area. It is also the city of Eilat, the city that is located in the southernmost area in Israel, almost at the foot of Mount Sinai. It's the same, it's a city, but it was transformed into Miran Island. I'm already here going up. This is one of the places where tourists almost never come because it's actually part of the city. You can access this location from the back, even with relatively small vehicles. You can also see there's no traffic today, as I told you, and there's no traffic because it's quite difficult to get in. So the people who are going around here, people who live here inside, or in a case like me, who comes to make recordings, but with a special permit, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get in either. But look at the number of stores, all closed around. It is estimated that possibly by December 15th of 2020, and I say 2020, but because possibly this video stays online and it's going to be watched over and over again. When they see this, they'll say it isn't updated. Well, it's from December 15th, 2020. Possibly the doors will open for international tourism in Israel. This news offers limited information. It's unclear how people will enter and who will be eligible, as the process seems highly selective. The idea is to reopen the state of Israel to the tourist world and to all those people who want to know more about the land of the Bible. Oh, so as I was saying, these internal streets are streets where many people, when they come to visit Israel, do not know them. And in fact, when they come, it is very difficult for them to know them. Because usually people always come in groups or with buses. The buses are big, they can't enter this sector. And when they come here to visit the city of Nazareth, they will always do it in a group. And usually it's quite light, quite fast. So let's go, because we have to get to the other place that is marked on the itinerary. So look there where you can see, almost at the end of the little street. It starts like a kind of small wall, a bit, how would you say, neater, more pleasant. This is the side part of where it is considered here, exactly. Behind this big wall is where it is considered to be located. What was once Joseph's carpentry, Jesus' father. Sadly, I can't go in because it's close, but rest assured, because I will try to maybe put some background images so you can see what the building looks like inside. That is, inside there, behind this big wall, then, would be what is considered as Jose's carpentry. It's within the same complex, the complex of the Church of the Annunciation, it's called. And why is that?
Annunciation?
Because it's the place where the angel Gabriel comes to announce to Mary that she is going to give birth to the Messiah. Exactly. Now, in front of you on the camera, you can see the building of the Church of the Annunciation. That is this gray dome that can be seen there. It's a modern church, but it's built on what is considered to be Mary's grotto. That is the room where she was located. When the angel Gabriel comes and gives her the announcement, inside there was the ancient city of Nazareth. When one enters there, they encounter the remains of the city from the time of the Bible, from the time of the Second Temple. You can also see inside there a building and very interesting constructions and things that have been found archaeologically, so that today we can have more light about that very special time. In front of this cart that you see here, there is like an entrance. Notice that there are like two small orange posts. You can enter through there. That is from there to the left. In front of your screen, there is an entrance. That entrance, as you can see there, it's a place where the market is, or was also in the past. The market was the place where people came, bought, sold. Inside there is the synagogue, where it is believed or considered that Jesus taught the book of Isaiah. I'm going to try at some point in this entire video part to be able to show you the place. I'm going to try to get in there so you guys can have a bit of visibility about this place too. Here, as you can see, to my right is the church. As I said, I'm going to try to find material so you can see. Possibly in the synagogue that we're going to visit, I'll put material from one of the groups I've been visiting. With Pastor Marcos Barrientos' group, we were there visiting the synagogue church as it is known today, which was the place where the Lord read the book of the law. You will be able to see images, and we may be able to take a tour, and I will tell you a little about what you will see inside. So let's better go see these images, which are part of what can be seen with a group when you are here visiting the land of the Bible. So let's go into the synagogue with past images.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the church of the synagogue. It seems perhaps the name is a little strange, like here in the church of the synagogue, It's because here all the works where Jesus taught the people of Nazareth. Here we are going to read the biblical story, the biblical text about this event. Here he tried to teach. They took him to the cliff's edge to throw him off. The people of Nazareth couldn't manage to throw him off the cliff, and from there he left. We are here in the synagogue.
I think we would be dishonest if we told you exactly in this little place where Jesus stood. We don't know.
Do you know why?
So, would our experience be more mystical, spiritual?
Okay, very well. We are returning again to our route. That is exactly where we took the break. We went in, we went out. We didn't get back in the car again. You are here with me, so try to imagine that you are here sitting next to me while we continue on this tour of protecting ourselves from the rain in the city of Nazareth in the days of the coronavirus. Now I'm going to go like this to the area. This one on the right, I'm going to take to this right side, because here we are going to a place where Jesus was taken to be, to throw him off, that is, to kill him. Approximately about 4 kilometers from the White Synagogue to the Mount of the Precipice. It was that Shabbat day, that day of rest, when they took Jesus out of the city. And the Bible tells us to take him to a mountain and throw him off. We are going to go to that place so that you can also have a visualization of that site. Something interesting details, as you can also see here in front, perhaps in the image. Many ask how Israel celebrates Christmas, with the Christmas tree being a common symbol of the holiday. The reality is that Israel is a nation where Christmas is not celebrated as such, as it is known in different parts of the world. But the point is that precisely in the city of Nazareth and in the city of Bethlehem, the Lord Jesus had a very strong influence. That is, Christianity had a very strong influence. I'm turning around to take the main road so you can familiarize yourself with it and see it. We might also run into police there. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to specifically leave from the old town area to be able to get to the mountain where we want to go. Yes, what you just saw is very normal here in Nazareth. Vehicles cross from one side to the other. Notice that, in fact, there is like a kind of small mountain on the road. But here it's the law of the strongest. Again, there, the Church of the Annunciation in front of you. So, as I was saying, the Christian influence here has been very strong. Therefore, the Christianity here is also quite representative. There are many Catholic Arabs in these cities, and so they do celebrate Christmas, remembering the birth of Jesus. Even though there is a lot of debate with the date itself, with the date, if he truly was born, December 25th, 24th, or December 25th. The truth is that there are many here theories that can be opened, and we could spend hours explaining about when was the real date of Jesus' birth. But the truth is, we can say and affirm that it was not on the date that everyone celebrates it there. Because in Israel, it can be clearly seen, according to the Hebrew calendar, that it was not specifically the date that Jesus was born. But I don't want to turn this into a debate. Let's stay focused on the journey from Nazareth. Those who want to know what the true date of Jesus' birth was, for that, we also have online courses. You can go to the Voices of Israel website, and there have information about our online courses. Remember that we offer 3 annual options. One option is called Aleph Partner, another option is called Bet Partner, and another option is called Gimel Partner. These are the 3 vowels of the Hebrew alphabet. It would be like an A, B, and C, Aleph, Bet, and Gimel, and depending on the option that you choose. It will be the number of classes you will receive throughout the year, so I invite you to go there. Among the classes we have, there are ones like the class I just mentioned, about the topic of Jesus' birth, dates, and so on, and with biblical clarification too, about all of this. Look, here I am now at the entrance. This is the entrance, what is known as the main entrance. From Nazareth, when one comes, they will enter the city of Nazareth. This is the main entrance. See that, for example, here there is like police officers. Well, it won't let me out, it tells me. To go out another exit, I'm gonna go out this way. It's that they are controlling, as I said, the entrance to the city. Also, the exit control results in less traffic when leaving. It's not that a medicine control is needed, but rather a special control or permission is needed to be able to get to this place. But we are going to continue to the point where we want to go, okay? So, don't get distracted. I hope you are getting to know the city of Nazareth, because honestly, I had planned to do something different, but well, we got caught in the rain. As I said, we are now heading towards the Mount of Precipice. The truth is, I don't know with all this situation, with all this change, if it's open. Because, for example, I was very surprised that when I even picked up the phone to get to places, they told me, no, yes, it is open, so come calmly. And when I end up getting to the place, they tell me, no, who did you talk to on the phone? Because it's closed and we don't have it projected that this will be open. That is, the communication, even these days, is quite disconnected, since one person says one thing and another person says another thing. And the real information generates a total confusion when it comes to the truth. One embarks on the adventure, and when they arrive at the place, they find the surprise, as is our case now here. And well, to not miss the real opportunity of being here and not waste time. At least we are doing what we are doing so that with our eyes from inside the car, we can experience the land of the Bible. And more specifically, where we find ourselves today, in the city of Nazareth. Some interesting facts also as we approach the location. What I want to tell you about Nazareth is that, for example, here, there are two Nazareths to tell you in some way. There is the Nazareth of the biblical era where the church was, the church of the Annunciation and Nazareth. Ilit, what is Nazareth, Ilit? In Hebrew language, Ilit comes from the word high, elevated. So it's the elevated Nazareth, the one that's on the hill of the mountain. That is, the city of Nazareth is on a hill. But there is a hill that is a bit higher, a little higher than where the ancient city of Nazareth is located, and that is called Nazareth Islet. And it's divided because in Nazareth Islet live the people who are Jewish, and in the old Nazareth live Arabs, and mostly, as I said, Catholic Arabs. There is a small Protestant community, evangelical church in the city of Jerusalem. When I say small, for the city of Nazareth, the number is approximately about 120 to 130 people. The pastor is Arab, and they are also located in the old city. Notice that to be able to get to the cliff, the truth for those who are watching, it's a route somewhat very abandoned. Notice that it's not so pleasing to the eyes to speak in a diplomatic way, but it's like quite abandoned, very dirty. But well, remember that it's also not a city, it's a hill up there. There are some little houses down here. And the Bible tells us that they took him to throw him off a cliff in a high place where they lived below. They are also working, that's the truth, that they are also working here, and they are trying to prepare for when tourism comes to make new routes. And that all this is better, more orderly, cleaner, more pleasing to the eyes. Now, from up here, we are going to have a view. I hope you can see. I'm going to try to do my best. I'm also going to get out of the vehicle, even though it's raining out there. But I want to show you where we are because the view from here is incredible, as it is one of the places where you can observe the valley where the Battle of Armageddon will take place, which we find in the book of Revelation. It says that the Lord gathered a great army in the valley of Armageddon. We have that one up here. Well, look, the good thing is that we have been blessed. The door is open, so let's go in here because there is a kind of large well here. And the good thing is that it also seems like the water is stopping the clouds. It's like the wind is taking them away quickly. So we are going to be able to get in there, at least walk through the woods. So while I get ready, I'm going to put on an outfit for the rain. You guys stay there, comfortable in your home, prepare a little coffee. I'm going to look for a place to park here, and I'm going to walk in there. Let's see at least what I can find up there. And what I can show you, without a doubt, will be a blessing. Okay, very well. I'm going to park here, and there I go on the adventure. Accompany me. We're going to climb up there.
Friends.
So here we go. Take a look. A little bit. I'm going to show you here. Let's go. Walking. So to the area where I wanted to take you, which was the east place, which we said the Cliff Mountain, known here. At least that's the sign they carry nowadays. Notice that it's very ordered. This little path was made like this, this sidewalk passage. I don't know what it's called in the language that you are listening to me. On the other side, so that people can walk before. In the old days, a few years ago, all this was not like this, but it was there, like in the green part. And notice that there are also many rocks. So it was quite complicated to get up to this place. Then what the Ministry of Tourism did was to improve it by the year 2011, when it was expected that the Pope would come to visit here. Back then, they made a very large investment here in the city of Nazareth because an incredible amount of tourists were expected, which eventually brought Israel a few years. To recover from that investment, because it was not the expected number of tourists that it had, but the investment remained and the place remained here. Very nice, very good. In fact, there is an amphitheater up here that is very, very nice also for that. When groups come and there are thousands of people, then they can use that amphitheater. Returning to the scriptures in the book of Luke, chapter 4. We are going to find the story in which Jesus was in the synagogue, as we could see. And from there, those people get angry with Jesus and end up coming to the high mountain. The Bible tells us in which they lived, that is Luke 4, verse 28 to be exact. You can read and see it from there. If I sound a little agitated, it's because you really have to go up here. And you can't see me much, but I have a backpack here on top of me, and that too weighs quite a bit. I had to leave the camera, so I hope it looks somewhat good. I apologize, but remember that we are going to return and we are going to do a special on the city of Nazareth. So, as I was telling you when we go up here that we are already there a few more meters, thank God we are already arriving. Where is this little tree? Up there is where it is almost marked. The maximum peak height of this mountain. Look, the view from this place is incredible, really. Now look before going to the other side of the view. I want you to see this, what I'm seeing here, along with you, the city of Nazareth ahead of you. A truly amazing place. If there were here stories that could be told, I mean, if the rocks could tell us, I think the rocks could tell us a lot of history of the city, which had the privilege of witnessing the growth of Jesus. Let's remember that he was not born in the city of Nazareth, but he was born in the city of Bethlehem. But he spent his childhood in the city of Nazareth. At the age determined by God, Jesus' public ministry begins. And from here then, he goes to the area of Galilee, which will be in that sector. Come with me because I want to show you this part, because this part is very interesting since it has a lot of history from the past, and there will also be history here in the future. What do you have there in your sight? It is the valley known as the Valley of Armageddon, known in Hebrew as the Valley of Jezreel. Kisrael, this place is called. And where I am now, on this peak is the place where they wanted to throw Jesus off the cliff. Look how high it is here. I'm going to try to go down, and I'm going to try to get to the part most complicated. Don't be scared. But let's go. Come with me slowly. Look how incredible this is. From here, imagine the anger that those people had to bring it to such a high place and to finish taking Jesus to his death. Because if he fell from here, from this height, without a doubt, he would surely die. Look, if you can reach to appreciate there, below, far away, now just came like a kind of wind. And it's covering all our vision, a kind of fog cloud. Let's see. I hope the truth can be heard because the wind here is quite strong. Even though I tried to cover the microphone, I hope it can be heard. I apologize. But just look at how the wind is blowing, right? Quite strong. And there it is. Look, here you can see the view a bit better. Now it's much clearer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mount of the Precipice, the place where they were going to throw Jesus to his death. Thank you. Thank God. The Lord continued with the goal that God had determined for him, that God had given him, and not he let himself be carried away. Watch out, I'm going to move with the wind. He did not let himself be carried away, but what he did was to pass among them. The scriptures tell us he passed among them and left. Well, I think it was really worth climbing up here, and look at the image we managed to get right now, even though it's not ideal. Really, because we have a lot of clouds, a lot of wind, the day is kind of rainy. But thank God the Lord allowed us this opportunity to show you this image, which I believe, as it is always said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think something like that is said. Honestly, I don't remember, but I think something like that is said. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And truly, the image is incredible, what you all can come to appreciate here. And for me, it truly is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve you from here, from the land of the Bible, and bring this material to you. As we know, and part of this material that we call Knowing Israel with the Bible in hand, in the book of Luke. As we were coming up, I was telling them 24:18, it says that Jesus passed through them and left. An interesting fact is that in Hollywood movies, what they always do is show us Jesus. Almost on the edge of this cliff here, almost as if on the edge of where they are going to push him. And then when he is getting out and he has all the people in front of him, and when he is getting out, what does he do? It's like they show us the movie that he goes off to one side. But the reality is that the scriptures do not tell us that he goes off to one side. The scriptures tell us what happened among them. My question has always been, and I asked the Lord to this day, and I believe the Lord gave me an answer, or at least I like to imagine, in the following way, because in the Garden of Gethsemane, we see something very similar happening with the Lord. Do you remember when the soldiers come and ask him, hey, we're looking for one called the Christ? And the Lord who says, and name me, I am, he says. And when he says, I am, something immediately happens. Do you remember what happens? The Bible tells us that everyone who was there fell, including the soldiers. He only opened his mouth, he said, I am. And when he said, I am, and everyone there fell in that Garden of Gethsemane. So I allow myself to imagine that the presence of the Lord in Jesus was so strong because it was not the time to kill him in the Garden of Gethsemane. It was not the time when the scriptures had to be fulfilled. The same thing happened exactly here in this place, on this Mount of the Precipice. I believe that the Holy Spirit was so strong upon the Lord, that is, the presence was so strong upon the Lord, that he did not allow any of those people who were so angry with him, because remember that those people who were angry with him, they knew him, they were friends, they were relatives, that is, people who had grown up with the Master, people who had been with him since childhood. If they played football back then, could they have been Jesus's very own football teammates? If the Lord went to school, they were the same little friends who sat with the Lord in class, studying with him. And they were the same ones who went every weekend, every Sabbath to the synagogue. And those same people were the ones who wanted to kill him. But at one point, something happened, because notice that it was almost 4 kilometers. That is, it was not something of a 5-minute matter, like we come in the video and we get here very quickly. Didn't a lot of time reach them? I dare to say that even more than 2 hours to get here, they had to put. And when they were really angry because they were driving him, they were pushing him, they were doing a lot of things with the Lord, until they finally get to this place, and the Bible tells us that Jesus passed through them and left. How can this be possible? So I allow myself to imagine that the presence of the Lord, the Holy Spirit, was so strong in Jesus that he did not allow any of the people who were threatening him to harm him. Why? Because it was not the time. I believe this teaches us a lot. Sometimes we feel threatened. Behind us we have the place that can lead us to death, because if we make a wrong step we can fall. And in front of us we may see faces that threaten us. Criticism, guilt, because those people criticized him. Who do you think you are? That is what went through your head. The people who knew him were those who did not believe in him. And sometimes we are in that same position. Many people around us who are our acquaintances do not believe in the call that God has placed in us. And sometimes seeing so many threats, seeing as if there is a depth and no way out can be seen. The only thing to do is to stand firm in the Lord, understand and know, and be completely sure that he is the one who sent you. He is the one who has a calling on your life. And simply go through the midst of the problems, go through the midst of the situation. The threats would be here. I can imagine the faces of those who were here around the Lord Jesus, as if shouting at him, getting angry with him, but none could do absolutely anything to him. The scriptures do not tell us that they even hit him. At the moment he passes among them, and when he passes among them, he left, and what begins? A new chapter in Jesus' life begins. The new chapter was that the Lord's ministry began. From there, the Lord came out of anonymity. From that moment, all of Israel was going to know that there was someone in the northern area of Israel who was performing miracles, wonders, who was healing the sick. What was written in the book of Isaiah, that is what was already written, was what was going to happen, and that it was going to be fulfilled with Jesus. So I think that's the message from here, from the Mount of the Cliff, for each one of us. If the Lord puts something in your life and you are totally sure that the Lord gave it to you, then go through the problem and be totally calm that He is there in control. From the Mount of Precipice, we are going to continue exploring a little bit here in the area of Nazareth. I apologize again for the shaky camera, but it's very windy here. Really, and we truly do everything possible so that you can get to know the city of Nazareth and the territory of Israel in general. Join me, because we are going to leave this place now and we are going to get in the car and we are going to go directly into this valley. That route that you see down there, we are going to go through there now to continue learning a little more about the territory of Israel. Let's go there. Very well, we are back here in the car. We are now going to this place, the Valley of Armageddon, and we are going to explore it from the inside. As you know, the Bible tells us about this place where the site of the battle meeting will be. In the book of Revelation, it tells us that the Lord gathered all the people in this place where this battle is going to take place. That place also has a history of the First Testament, that is the Old Testament, and the history that is found there from the Old Testament. Do you remember that there were also many wars back then? In fact, if we go to the biblical history, in the history of the Kings and books of Chronicles, we are going to find ourselves. On many occasions, it was a scenario of conflict. For example, do you remember when Thutmose III, one of the pharaohs of Egypt, he wanted to go attack the Babylonian territories? Back then, he had asked one of the kings of Israel to be able to pass through this place. That is, he simply wanted to pass through here. Use the territory of Israel to go attack the Babylonians. Sadly, the king of Israel opposed. That is, in principle, he lends the physical space so that the Egyptian army can cut the way and reach the Babylonian sector. But finally, the king of Israel comes out along with the Israelis. They intercept this king on the way and end up hitting the king of Israel with a spear. The goal was not to create a conflict with Israel, but the king of Israel ends up dying simply for standing in the way of this Lord who was going to have that conflict, that attack on the Babylon area. So we have that narrated in the Old Testament, and more precisely, we are told about Megiddo. That is the name used in the Old Testament. Also, Megiddo, have you heard about the Mount of Megiddo? Megiddo in Hebrew language is an area, it's a sector, but it's called Armageddon. Ar comes from the word mount, and Megiddo from sector, so it's the Mount of Megiddo, the sector of Megiddo. They also remember that it was one of the fortress cities of the Israeli period, and more precisely, it was a place that was used during the reign of King Solomon. We are going to have a special program about Mount Megiddo, the place where King Solomon's stables were, King Solomon's army. In fact, there are impressive excavations there today that we can discover and we can see today in our site. We are going to have that exclusive material so that you can also learn a little more about Mount Megiddo. Do you remember that at one point in the video I mentioned that there were two Nazareths? One was Nazareth Illit and the other was Biblical Nazareth. The Nazareth Illit is the one you can see there on your right. Notice the little houses up there on the part of the hill, on the high part, there is Nazareth Illit. We are now going down the route. Why? Because we are going to go down to the Megiddo Valley area. And one of the things I also wanted to tell you before we get to that place is that nowadays, in this place there are many houses. That is, you can see many people living in this place. And when one goes and interviews these people and they ask you, do you know that you are living in one of the places where the Bible tells us that it will be a place of conflict in the future? Now, many people who live there do not know the New Testament. They do not know the New Testament, And by not knowing the New Testament, then they do not believe what the New Testament says. Therefore, for them, it is irrelevant what we might tell them about the battle, but there are many other people who know the Old Testament very well and also know the New Testament very well. And they relate that both the New Testament has a relationship with the Old Testament. From the point of view of Gog and Magog, remember that there is also a very interesting relationship with that part of history. So those people who do understand Gog and Magog, they know that there is going to be a conflict, but for them the conflict is imminent. That is, it is going to come and it is going to come. And they can do absolutely nothing against what the scriptures say. The only thing they have is their little house in that place, and they are going to stay there to live. And many think there is still a lot of time left for that. But the truth is that, as we can see in the scriptures, we are very close to that period. So that time, it has almost stopped raining. Thank God, well, thank God, because we are recording. But in reality, the state of Israel needs water. We are now entering the winter season and in the winter. This is where Israel self-supplies water from the Sea of Galilee to later finally provide drinking water to the nearly 9 million citizens that the state of Israel has today. Exactly, we are now in the valley of Armageddon, the place where the battle of the end times will take place. I'm going to see now while we are walking. I want to see if I can leave them. They're a gift from another part of this place where we are, so that you can also appreciate. Now I'm going to look for a place here where I can park so that you can see a little more what it looks like. And I also want to see if we can read the scriptures, this verse of the scriptures exactly, in the place where this conflict is going to take place or move forward. So I'm going to see if I'm going to turn around here so that we can find a place to park there. And then I'm going to show you from inside how you can see the place. Well, in the end, I managed to park here and look where I am. As I mentioned, we will create content about this location. This is the site known as Armageddon, the Mount of Armageddon, the place, the city now called in Hebrew Megiddo, one of the archaeological sites. In there is a lot to explore. Wait for that material, it's really worth it. We have reached the end of our visit experience in the city of Nazareth. But remember that we always read the scriptures, as we always say, touring Israel with the Bible in hand. And I want to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 16. And it says the following here. I'm going to read to you in verse 15. First, because it says, "Here I come as a thief, blessed, he who watches and keeps his clothes, so that he does not walk naked, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon." We are going to have a special program about this, Armageddon Megiddo, we are going to announce. To learn more about the ministry, visit www.vocesdeisrael.com. or www.israeladora.com. Since both ministries work together to bring Israel to your home. Here I say goodbye to you. I hope you really got to know the city of Nazareth. We had everything rain, now the sun is about to come out. We had good weather here, I think. And I also want to take this opportunity to wish you an excellent start to the month. We are already in the last month of the year, according to the Gregorian calendar. And well, from here, from the land of Israel, we bless you. Without further ado, greetings from the land of the Bible. Have an excellent continuation of time. And if you have time, go and continue watching the material that is here on the channel. Remember to subscribe.